All right, today we are tackling a big one. We are decoding the Nature portfolio of journals. You know, it's one of the most prestigious names in science, but it can be a little confusing. Our goal here is to break it all down so you can figure out the perfect home for your own research. So let's just dive right in.
Okay, so picture this. You've spent months, maybe even years on your research. The experiments are finally done, the data looks good, the paper is written, you're right there at the finish line, but then comes this huge, kind of stressful question: where do I even send this thing? It's a massive decision, and honestly, the answer can make or break your work's impact.
And that's exactly where this guide comes into play. We're going to use this fantastic chart as our map to navigate all the different options inside the Nature family. Think of it as our cheat sheet for understanding the scope, the impact, and exactly what each journal is looking for. It's all about finding that perfect fit.
So where do we start? Well, we've got to start at the very top, the one everybody knows, the big one, the flagship journal, Nature. This is the absolute benchmark.
And the first number that just jumps out at you is its impact factor. We're talking over 60. Now, impact factor basically measures how often articles in a journal get cited by other scientists. A number that high is just massive. It signals incredible influence. It means papers published here get seen and used a lot. It's a real powerhouse.
So why is it so influential? Well, here's the reality check. The estimated acceptance rate is less than 10%. That is insanely selective. To get published in Nature, your work has to clear an incredibly high bar for being new, important, and just groundbreaking. And that really brings us to the key takeaway. Nature is for those massive, multidisciplinary discoveries. We're not talking about an incremental step forward. We're talking about the kind of research that has the potential to literally change how we see the world.
But what if your discovery is absolutely groundbreaking, but it's within a very specific field? Well, that brings us to the next tier in the family, the specialist journals. These have a much tighter, more niche focus.
Now check this out, because the distinction here is so important. Let's just use microbiology as an example. You've got Nature Microbiology, which is all about publishing new, original research. We're talking brand new findings. But then you have Nature Reviews Microbiology. This is different. It's often invitation only, and it's for articles that pull together and synthesize what we already know. So one is for showing new data, the other is for defining the entire field. That is a crucial difference to know.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about open access. This isn't just one type of journal. You should really think of it as a whole spectrum of options, all designed to make research available to everyone, but each one strikes a slightly different balance between how wide its reach is and how tough the scientific criteria are. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. You can really see the spectrum here. All the way on one end, you've got Nature Communications, which is still really competitive, right? An acceptance rate of around 15 to 20%. Then you move to the middle with Communications Biology, a bit more accessible. And all the way on the other end is Scientific Reports, which is the most inclusive of the bunch, with an acceptance rate that can be 50% or even higher.
So you might be asking, why is there such a huge difference in those rates? Well, it all comes down to what the editors are looking for. Nature Communications wants it all. The science has to be rigorous, yes, but it also has to be novel and make a really clear, important contribution. On the other hand, Scientific Reports is mainly focused on one thing. Is the science solid? Is the methodology sound? The novelty factor isn't the main gatekeeper, as long as the research itself is done well.
So let's boil this down into a quick guide. If you've got strong, novel research that scientists from a bunch of different fields would find interesting, Nature Communications is probably your target. If you have solid work that really pushes the field of biology forward, Communications Biology is a fantastic fit. And if your main goal is just to get your rigorous, reproducible science out there to the biggest audience possible, well, Scientific Reports was designed for exactly that purpose.
Okay, we've talked about a lot of numbers, impact factors, acceptance rates, different criteria, but at the end of the day, the decision of where to publish, it goes way beyond just the metrics. It's really about finding the right home for your specific piece of work.
And this quote from our source material just hits the nail on the head. It says, "Impact factor is just one metric. What really matters, what you should really be thinking about, is the significance of your study, the exact audience you're trying to talk to, and the kind of impact you truly want your work to have."
So, the final question isn't what's the most prestigious journal I can squeeze into? No. The question we should all be asking is this: your work is valuable. So, thinking about your audience and your own goals, where is it going to make the biggest impact? That is the most important question you can answer.